Known as the impressive title Queen of Pop, singer-songwriter Madonna has completely reinvented the landscape of music and culture since her induction in the early 1980s. Every aspect of her persona, performance, and sound has been cemented as a vital moment for the development of art. And as a result, Madonna has garnered an awful lot of attention, both good and bad, which has led to much discussion and analysis of her stardom. And from sex to religion, Madonna has been an artist who has combated subjects that others would not dare to approach. Madonna has truly led a career of risk and reward, making her one of the most admired musicians ever to exist. Madonna Louise Ciccone was born in the river surrounding Bay City, Michigan, in the summer of 1958. Named after her mother, her parents were involved in Catholicism. Her father, Tony, was an engineer designer for automobiles. When Madonna was 5 years old, her mother passed away from breast cancer. Her tender age meant that it was several years before she began to internalize her mother's death fully, and she turned to her paternal grandmother for the guidance a mother would give. In the years after her mother died, Madonna was anxious about the loss of her further family members, especially of her father. This led to hypersensitivity towards anyone who she and her siblings deemed to be a threat to her mother, seeing any guardian or visitor as attempting to take her place. Thus, when Tony married housekeeper Joan and had 2 children, Madonna entered a state of rebellion. Yet, she performed well at school and demonstrated plentiful creativity and activity. Her passion at this time was dance, specifically ballet and cheerleading. She attended the University of Michigan on a scholarship for dance before dropping out, deciding she would move to New York. Madonna's move to New York was a rushed one with little money and direction. However, she lived in an apartment with the income of a couple of jobs. She would join dance troupes to earn money, as well as attending dance classes and later involving herself in backup singing. Backup singing and dancing meant that Madonna could embark on long tours around the world with artists, one of them being her then partner Dan Gilroy. On the cusp of the 1980s, Madonna joined a band with Gilroy named The Breakfast Club, but would later leave to pursue songwriting with Stephen Bray, with whom she was romantically involved. By 1980, Madonna began writing material with a solo career in mind. She signed a singles deal with Sire Records. Her first singles, Everybody and Burning Up, both demonstrated Madonna as a dance music takeover, joining the influx of post-disco culture and permeating dance floors all across the US. Madonna, her debut album, followed in 1983, and a reissue 2 years later arrived. The album brought what would be one of Madonna's most well-known songs, Holiday. Its style focused around lush synths and disco rhythm, fresh in its approach to music, technology, and also in her high, young voice. There was evident innovation in Madonna's unconventional approach to music, and this has since been well praised. Whilst Madonna failed to top the Billboard 200, its sales have reached the 5-time platinum certification by the RIAA, indicating over 5 million copies sold in the US alone. Her debut was also successful in the likes of France, the Netherlands, and New Zealand. And now there is a huge legacy attached to this album. It is seen as one of the most influential and groundbreaking works of both the 1980s and of the 20th century. Upon releasing her first album, Madonna began to influence other aspects outside of music, such as fashion. Many young women and fans looked to the new artist for a new way to express themselves, integrating fishnet tights and layered necklaces into their outfits, things which Madonna herself had been repeatedly wearing. Her second album, Like a Virgin, was released in 1984 and featured production from Chic member Nile Rodgers. Incorporating religious imagery with the theme of sexuality, Madonna played with 2 polar opposite stereotypes of women. She combined them to create a new idea of the woman, showing that you can be whatever you want to be with no shame attached. However, conservative media began to target Madonna for her Like a Virgin aesthetic, stating that she was a bad role model for her younger fans. Nonetheless, in retrospect, the sophomore effort was a huge turning point in her career. The album also spawned the singles Like a Virgin and Material Girl, both of which have become staple work for Madonna's artistry. Her first concert tour came in 1985, named the Virgin Tour. before she followed up with True Blue the following year. Live audiences began to showcase the sheer influence of Madonna's look, and the film industry noticed and marketed upon it. From 1985 onwards, Madonna has appeared in 16 films, from Who's That Girl to Desperately Seeking Susan to Dangerous Game. Interestingly, Madonna has also dived into film directing, and when the 90s came around, Madonna took to becoming a creative force of nature. One of her biggest endeavors during this time was her founding of the entertainment company Maverick. Maverick is comprised of music publishing, film producing, book publishing, and television broadcasting. The label was triumphant in owning musical talent, including singer Alanis Morissette. In more recent years, Madonna has been working on new music, namely Madame X in 2019. The album captures strong Latin influences and Madonna's classic experimental approach to music. This was followed by a successful tour. However, it differed in its size. Madonna chose to perform in theater venues and have a no-phone policy to increase the feeling of intimacy between herself and her fans when she performed live. In the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, Madonna had to cancel much of her promotion and tour, but nonetheless, she donated $1 million to find a suitable vaccine for the disease. Madonna herself was influenced and driven by striking independent women in music. The likes of Blondie's Debbie Harry and the Pretenders' Chrissie Hynde have been among the most significant music influences. Furthermore, Madonna looked to Hollywood actresses for inspiration. She saw in them an exploration of her femininity, her character, and her personality, leading her to base much of her personas on these actresses. Andy Warhol and Frida Kahlo were also significant for Madonna, with whom the former inspired her controversial sadomasochism themes. Whilst Madonna is a distinctive and incomparable artist, her iconography has been the result of having a true passion for art and culture, and she has acknowledged an array of influence which led to a dizzying pastiche of a larger-than-life stardom. Today, Madonna is one of the most admired artists for contemporary musicians. Her daring approach to pop music is the very reason much music has existed. There truly is no one like Madonna. You can check out the Carly of Spotify to listen to the original tracks of the artist. It's a curated playlist with the most popular songs.